Hello, dear viewers and subscribers. How are you? I hope you are well and enjoying the series in parts Azure certification. Actually, we are going to complete Azure certification path. So, last our session was about cost management, where we learn how to uh, calculate the price and estimate the cost of different resources tools on the cloud. In this today we will be covering Microsoft Azure Compute and networking services. This module actually introduces you to the compute and network services of Azure. You learn about three of the compute options like virtual machine, containers, and Azure function. Ooh, great. So it's good to see how virtual machines will be created, what is containers, and how Azure functions works. You also learn about some of the networking features such as Azure virtual networks, Azure DNS, and Azure Express Route. So objectives are compare compute types including container instances, virtual machines, and functions. So as you know that on cloud we have different compute types. We can use functions, lambda function for example. We can avail virtual machines and we can also maintain container. We can build containers. And second is describe virtual machine options. So if we go for virtual machines, what options we can have, like including virtual machines. Virtual machines scale sets. Actually, what is scale sets? Actually, scale set allow virtual machine instances to be centrally managed, configured, and update. So it's a very good option that if you have number of virtual machines, you can centrally manage, configure, and update all the machines. So it will automatically increase and decrease the number of virtual machine instances in response to demand or a defined schedule, because we have discussed scalability and high availability. So this feature is also provided in scale sets, right? Where you will set some configuration and instances of the virtual machines can be increased if there is a demand and can be decreased if there is no further usage. So availability sets actually only offer high availability, right? The third is describe resource required for virtual machines. We also describe what resources are required for virtual machines. Viewers, it's a very good session because it's covering a lot of regarding cloud services. So it's a very interesting, and we will be discussing and viewing in deeply because it's a fundamental. So we cannot go in detail, but I will try to cover maximum. Fourth is application hosting options. Wow. So we will be discussing hosting option like we can host on Azure web apps. We can avail web apps where we can host our application. We can utilize containers. We can also use virtual machine itself. To describe virtual, fifth one is describing virtual networking. Definitely, when we will be going to avail and utilize some applications, containerization or any virtual machine, definitely there will be need for networking. So this session will also cover the purpose of Azure virtual networks, where you will also be able to view virtual subnets, because every private network must have a specific subnet, or any virtual private network must have subnet. Peering mean connection of these subnets, these different subnetworks. Let's suppose you acquire a virtual private network, okay? Then you can have more than one virtual network, and you can connect all of those. So we will learn also this practice. Azure DNS domain name system. What is DNS? VPN virtual private network gateway. It's actually how to communicate with virtual private network. So Azure Cloud also providing a gateway with which we will be communicating with that VPN. And also we have express route. So we will also look into this, what is express route as well. So last is define public and private endpoints so that we can configure our network with public and private endpoint as well. So let's start one by one. Okay, we already know what is VM. Virtual machine is logically partition of compute service on the cloud, right? An important point is to remember it is a infrastructure as a service. Please remember in the form a virtualized server and can be used in many ways. It is like your physical computer where you have to configure and run your application as per your need. So it is also important to note that when you need virtual machine, okay. Number one, total control over the operating system. It's mean when you know that over or totally operating system, I have to configure, manage, and control, right? Second option is ability to run custom softwares, where you need and you can run customized software, any open source or any your proprietary softwares. Then you can go for virtual machine. And third important option is to use custom hosting configuration. Okay, actually it's almost configuring and managing and controlling. When you need all of these three requirements, then you will go for virtual machine. Cloud also provide other VM type as well, which is pre-configured VM image. So it's if you don't need, you want something like operating system or some configuration or some software should be already with your provided VM, then cloud also provide this option too. Even though Azure VM gives you the flexibility of virtualization without having to buy and maintain the physical hardware that runs on the VM, however, as an infrastructure as a service offering, you still need to configure, update, and maintain the software that run on the virtual machine. You can even create or use already created image to rapidly provision virtual machines. You can create and provision a virtual machine in minute when you select a pre-configured virtual machine image, which is a second type of virtual machine provided by Azure Cloud. An image is a template used to create a virtual machine and may already include an operating system and any other software as well, like development tools or web hosting environments. So these two are specific virtual machine we can acquire on cloud. So guys, it was about VM provided by cloud, and also we can avail virtual machine. So let's a little bit discussed on virtual machine skill sets. You can run single VM for testing, development, and for minor tasks. So you can group VMs together to provide high availability, scalability, and redundancy. Azure can also manage the grouping of VMs for you with features such as skill sets and availability sets. So what is scale sets? Scale sets is actually lets you create and manage group of identical load balanced VMs. If you simply create multiple VMs with the same purpose, you had to need to ensure that where all configuration should be same within all VMs, and then set up network routing parameters to ensure efficiently. It's mean you have to create VM one another and same efforts and time required for second VM. But with virtual machine scale sets, Azure automates most of that work. for you. Skill sets allows you to centrally manage, configure and update a large number of VMs in a minute. The number of VM instances can be automatically increased or decreased in response to demand. Great. You can set it to scale based on a defined schedule as well. It's another good option that you can also do some schedules. It's mean in some days you need some more in virtual machine within a specific peak time, then you can also schedule it. Virtual machine scale sets also automatically deploy a load balancer to make sure that your resources are being used efficiently. I believe it's a very good option provided by Azure Cloud. Okay, so availability second is virtual machine availability set. So availability set is actually another tool to help you build a more resilient, high available environment. Availability sets are designed to ensure that VMs stagger updates and have varied power and network connectivity, preventing you from losing all your VMs with a single network or power failure. It's a very good option. So examples of when to use VMs are during testing and development, when you can also use when running application in the cloud, and third is when extending your data center to the cloud during disaster recovery. So all of this very good option provided by Azure. So resources, when you prevent a VM, you will also have to check to pick the resources that are associated with that VM. So size, purpose, number of processors, cores, or amount of RAM you should reconsider while creating your VM. Storage disk, you have to create your size of storage disk, solid state drives like networking, virtual network, public IP, and port configuration. All of this. So let's have a session how to create virtual machine as well. So we can do some lab and practical example. Thank you. Okay, guys. So we will here be doing some practice. Practically, we will see how Azure environment allow us to create virtual machine. So I am on cloud portal and where I have to start puzzle. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, there is three and there are also three. Let me also check. 5 1 2 1 3. So this one is because this one also have fourth one, so I will submit this. Okay, guys, so sandbox is activated because you have to have sandbox for doing this practical example. So we have 59 minutes left only, and here we will be looking into the steps actually. In this exercise, you create as your virtual machine and install Nginx, a popular web server. You could use the Azure portal. Okay, so these are the option: Azure CLI, Azure PowerShell, Azure Resource Manager. So these are the options. Here you can switch PowerShell. You can restart your VM. So your environment. You can manage file, like you can upload or download file here. You can also create new session, and you also have some feature which is not available in this session. Okay, so first of all, what we have to do, we have to create this command. It is actually a resource group, as we have covered in previous session, session number 5. We have to have group uh, before creating resources. Within this group, we can have more than one VM and other resources as well, like database, any other tools provided by Azure. but remember that all those features should be available within your subscription. As right now we are using free tier, if we will use any other beyond the free tier, definitely we will be charged. So here is group, and here is name of VM, whatever name you can change it, and public IP, it is standard, okay, provided by your cloud environment. And image actually is Ubuntu, okay. So you are going to use Ubuntu operating system to have your virtual machine. And here is admin user, Azure user as well, and generate SSH keys. So it will generate SSH keys so that you can later log in with those SS keys. If I run this example, so let's see. Okay, good. So SSH keys files are creating here. You can use this if you want to connect this with your virtual machine remotely. So these are also being generated. So it will take some time to create VM, and let's see. Your VM takes a few moments to come up. You name the VM YVM, so use this name, refer later steps. Okay. Okay guys, it is created. Here you have public IP also available, and status of your VM is running great. It's a MAC address of my laptop. Location provided is West US, and here is VM group as well, and ID. This one is resource group, you can see. Okay, so Zoom is empty. Okay, so let's check for that either we have group and VM or not. Okay, if I VM list NSO table, so I want to actually see the in a list. Okay, great. Here is my VM right now created, and here is the group. Okay, so you have created your VM. You can do anything within this VM. You can install software, you can also configure other options, and it is given to execute some custom scripts, because we are not going to extend this exercise because we have a short time. So it's actually rest of steps are just to go through and do some more practice. So here we can see our group, we can see our VM created, and here you can see that it's a maxi service username as well. So okay, so uh, uh, in next practice we will be sorry, next part we will be discussing what is Azure Virtual Desktop. Okay, so thanks for staying with us and helping us to be motivated and do some more work for you to provide more knowledge on this. So we will be providing more information, more videos. Please don't forget to add comments. You can add some comments and provide your feedback so that we can improve our these tutorials sessions which are in different parts in better way. Okay, thank you. Bye.